Well, it's a breach of contract.
Who cares? Well, don't let him go to rugby union then. It's his decision. If he doesn't want to play, he doesn't want to play. You can't make people want to play. No, I can't see him beating. I can't see him beating Penrith at all.
Well, they put a pipe up your... How you going?
Took your missus to get a...
And so they just fill you full of water and they just clean you out.
Hang on. You took Maria to get one?
It was for a birthday.
Oh, for a birthday.
This is the maddest place on the planet.
Dancing.
The only show where you're allowed to do it without shoes on.
Andrew Johns, one of the greatest players of all time.
Cuddles and kisses go a long way, especially when you're in trouble.
Oh, the horse has bolted. Look at the big fellow go in.
Imagine if he wanted to fire. They're very horny and very aggressive.
Are we allowed to put that to air?
Sydney, stay classy.
I love everyone for making me feel this good.
Welcome to Freddy and the Eighth. Great to be with you and great to be presented by our friends at the Tab for another week. So much coming up on the show today. Change of the guard at the Roosters. Is this the last time we see some of the Roosters champions play for that famous club? We're talking grand final entertainment. Maybe a week early, but any excuse to bring out Billy Idol. And of course, we'll preview the big prelims this week. Oh, yes. Hello, gents, by the way.
Hello.
You well?
I'm good.
If you click on the link below, that's what we do here with technology, go in the running to win a VIP Melbourne Cup experience. Get down there amongst the punters at Flemington. One of the great weeks of sport. Would you not agree?
Well, what you can remember...
It's a long slog.
I reckon I've been half a dozen times. I've never, ever seen a horse.
Melbourne Cup.
Never seen a horse.
Melbourne Cup day or week?
I did two of the Modern Powers.
Did you really?
Yep.
I did two of Mackay Divas.
Mackay Divas.
And Mackay Divas, yeah.
She won 3, didn't she?
Yeah.
3 in a row.
What did Modern Power win 1?
Won the Caulfield Melbourne Cup double, I think.
Derby Day, Cup Day, Oaks Day. Friday, home.
Well, you don't back up a
We
Stakes
went on
Day.
a trip away there with the Roosters once.
Yeah, we did a
had
couple
this
of triple A's.
area. It was packed. Great day. And for some reason, it was in the members, but it was a grass area, and no one else was there. We had our own bar. I remember lying down the grass. Just
What time?
taking it all in.
My first Melbourne Cup, I reckon I went to about 10 in a row, just about. The first one was Mackay Divas last. That was a very special day of sport.
I watched the first and third one.
Yeah, right.
One was in the rain. One pissed down rain.
Did Damien Oliver, was he the rider?
No, Bossy.
Bossy. Jeez, I got it all wrong.
Back in the archive. Oh, this is Freddy retiring.
Ooh, this could be
Fittler has made it official, retiring at the end of the year. He made his first grade debut for Penrith in 1989 and joined the Roosters in 1996. He has played 318 games, won 2 premierships, represented New South Wales 29 times and Australia 34, captaining at every level. He was, without any question, one of the league's greatest. But now at 32, Brad says its time is up. And he joins us right now. And Brad, congratulations on the announcement, but I've got to ask, why now and when did you make the decision?
Well, thanks, Ken. And well, I've known for the last couple of weeks, I've discussed it with Marie, and I'm comfortable with the decision. And over the past couple of weeks, people have been asking me what I'm doing, and I've just felt uncomfortable trying to come up with some lies. So I thought I'd just get out of the road and then I'll concentrate on the rest of the year. So
honesty was the best policy. Tell me, you're retiring at the top. You are selecting the time when you bow out rather than somebody else to tell you to go out.
Yeah, well, that was something I thought was important. I can see now people coming through the club who, given minor injuries or anything like that or poor form, that are going to take me a position. So I feel like I can still contribute to the team, and I think we've got a good side, and especially this year, I think we can do well. So hopefully I can bow out at the top.
Congratulations to you. What will you do? Photography?
I don't know, mate. I've got an interest in that, but I'll definitely have something to do with the club and something to do with rugby league. I think it's quite obvious I've got very little other skills, so I'll concentrate worry about that when that situation arises, I suppose.
There you are. Going to be a media...
You actually look younger now.
Benjamin Button.
Joys of Botox. Look at that forehead.
I remember the day I announced it was after a Canberra game. We may have lost a game or two. And my manager lived up in Wallara, the Beaver. And I rang him. We got off the field and I said, "Mate, I'm going to announce it now." He was up the road. So he bolted down and I announced it that night.
Did you? Yeah, right. So you both, would know. Like they say, you can pinpoint a moment where you know you've had enough. Is that true? What, does it just hit you?
I had a moment in the pre-season. I couldn't keep up
Yeah, right.
with the shuttles and stuff, the stuff where your back hurts and where your age really hits you. And I remember there was a moment I was really struggling to keep up. And we did everything. In those days, I never missed a second of training. So my last sort of, I finished at 32, did the whole lot. And I just thought, you know what, I don't want to do this.
Were you disappointed to retire? But obviously, your decision was forced.
I maxed out the body.
Yeah.
That year, 07, in the pre-season, I had a lingering hamstring for about a month or 6 weeks.
I had a lingering hamstring too at the end.
But it was coming from the back. It was like that neural, that pain one, where it actually wasn't my hamstring. And it was just like, mate, my body's telling me. And then Sonny went, douche.
And that was it.
Good
Not
night.
nice. But I was ready. The body doesn't lie. No one beats Father Time.
Clint Eastwood said that.
Father Time is unbeaten.
He says you don't let the old man in the door. Stay young.
He's still making movies at
Stay
90.
relevant, that's right.
Yeah. Do you know, just on retirements, Adam Gilchrist says he dropped a catch 2006. First day of a test. Said, that's it, I'm done. And
I've had
that's
enough.
it, that moment.
Yeah.
Isn't that incredible? Just hit you like that.
It is.
Kalen Ponga, the big story in rugby league, he's made himself, he has said he's intending to make himself unavailable for Australian selection during the Pacific Championships. Problem is, he's not allowed to do it. The contract says, unless you get an exemption on specific grounds, if you're a registered player, you have to be available. There's been a bit of backlash because Bob McCarthy, who captained Australia and was a chairman of the selection committee for the Australian team for many years, has said he should never be considered again. This is an interesting debate, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Wants to keep himself fresh and, more importantly, get back in fitness to train in the pre-season for Newcastle.
So if they play till the final of the Pacific Bowl, that's mid to late November,
Yep.
correct?
Early November, about the 10th.
So the Players Association said
Yeah.
you have to have 8 weeks off, so then that means you'd be coming back to training
February.
early Feb. Underdone. I got no problem with it. I got no problem with it at all. You have a look at the workload of players. Junior Barlow, 1 year, played 35 games in the front row. I remember Cameron Smith told me one time he played 37 games during the year.
Oh, yeah,
Mate, these
average.
blokes aren't machines. They're humans. Remember Minnie? Minnie went on 3 tours in a row and played every game. 18 months. Body breakdown. Body can only take so much. So I haven't got a problem with it at all. I understand he's calling Mal today. I think someone's told me that. So hopefully they nat it out.
So the other element of this is that if he refuses to play, he can be suspended by the NRL.
I think it's sad. I think there's one thing, there's not a long-term plan from the game to allow, then maybe you can actually do a bit like the cricket and work with the players and see who's, has the energy. But I still think if you don't want to play for Australia, that's sad. At his age where he is at the moment, he should be chewing at the bit to play for Australia.
What's sad about it? That he hasn't got that desire, or
Well,
that
it's
you
just where
feel
the
he's in a
game
position
is.
where he has to
Well,
prioritise?
he's come out and said he wants to win a comp with Newcastle.
Club footy's so hard and dominates. Simple as that. Then obviously Origin takes a huge toll. In the old days, like everyone looked forward, if there was a kangaroo tour at the end, that's all everyone thought about was, you need to play good to get on that. And that was the motivation to play good for your club. So
It's changed so much. I mean, could you ever imagine a situation when you guys were playing where someone would knock back the chance to play their first ever game for
I
Australia?
pulled out of a tour.
they're not early though.
I had a bit
But
of
had you played for
It would have
Australia?
been when you were
Yeah,
later
no,
on.
I'm talking early to mid 2000s. I had a lingering knee, and I just went, no, I'm done. I'm absolutely done. I ended up having an operation a couple of weeks later, but I could have gone and played.
Yeah, but you're hurt. I mean, he's totally fit, and he's never played for Australia.
Yeah, I don't agree. I
I got no problem with it.
I think what happens is, like you've said, there's a reason it's on.
Yeah.
And there's a
Okay.
reason we're trying to play football in the Pacific. And there's a reason why we're trying to get that market for all different, for all different reasons. And when they sign this CBA and, That's what happens.
What about Jamie
You've said
Lyon?
that I accept what the Commission's doing.
Jamie Lyon never played rep
He
football.
pulled out of Origin.
He
But
didn't-
I,
he wouldn't want to-
Jamie Lyon had played rep football.
But he didn't want to go on tours. He actually said he used to
came
get
on our
homesick.
tour. He
Yeah,
came on-
that was his last one.
yeah, but so we, like at the end, look, when I was 28, I retired from rep footy.
Yeah. So just to explain that, and that's the one everyone thinks about. So Jamie Lyon was asked to be excluded because he had already established himself as a regular representative player, and the league, for whatever reason, decided that it was acceptable that he retire from rep footy. So Kalen hasn't got an established
Yeah, but it's his
representative
decision.
career.
He can't be made to play rep footy. They can't make him. You can't make anyone in your workforce do something they don't want
It's
to
in
do.
the contract, mate. It's in the
So
contract
what?
they
He
signed.
doesn't want to play. If he doesn't want to play, he doesn't have to play.
Well, it's a breach of contract.
Who
so
cares?
he's got to,
Well, don't
he's got to
let him go to
accept.
rugby union then. It's his decision. If he doesn't want to play, he doesn't want to play. You can't make people want to play. If he doesn't want to play for Australia, so be it.
So what do you
So
think
be it.
about? Well, what do you think about then him being suspended from games?
Oh, ridiculous. So you've got players playing up and doing all sorts of things and they get a week or two suspension. And you get a bloke who, well, I don't want to play rep footy and he gets 6 games.
So at what stage does the game come first? At what stage does every player?
Well, I
and
watched
club
100%
put the
footy
game
and I
first?
saw Peter Volandis on there pretty much saying we get to 20 teams, we're going to have 9 and 20 games.
Yeah.
So he's actually admitted that the season goes too long.
Yeah, but right at the moment, someone's got they're actually taking a hit to get the game and to pay out to get the games on TV, which they've sort of demanded, and which
Hang on,
is in
so
their contract.
They get what?
I'm saying, so at the moment, the game has
Yeah.
sold so many games a year to Channel 9 and Foxtel.
Yeah.
So the players at the moment, they did a collective bargaining agreement to say we're going to play in those games, and if our name comes up for
In the test matches.
rep duties, then we need to say yes.
Isn't it his decision? He doesn't have to. If he doesn't want to play, he doesn't want to play. I can't. If
I
they
understand
if
that.
they ban him, it is absolutely
I
laughable.
don't think they'll ban him, but I understand to say that, what is his decision. But at the end of the day, when does anyone put the game first? There's a reason that we're playing these things. But they don't make money out of them. They're not making money out of the Pacific Championships. Surely.
But the benefit to the game has been what we've seen the strength of Tonga and Samoa in recent years.
Yes.
And that is what the Pacific Championships is designed to do, is continue to engage them in international football.
I
That's
don't
not
think-
Kalen. That's not Kalen Ponga's
Well, no,
job.
it's not, and I appreciate your passion, but the reality is,
And mate,
I
I
saw
couldn't-
the contract today.
I
Gus
couldn't
showed
give
me.
a rat's
it's
ass.
in the contract.
I couldn't give a rat's if Kalen was playing for Newcastle because I was saying I'm being biased, or he's playing for St George Illawarra.
Yeah, but Channel 9
it's his
do.
decision.
When Channel 9 give you the money for the contract, when they give the league the money for the contract, they want the best Australian team possible because it means more people will watch the game. Like, this is what it's all bought and sold on. Like, there's agreements between parties, NRL, players, clubs.
But what
and
about
media
what
outlets.
about when the clubs pressure players to retire from rep football? What's the league going to do about that?
Well, the difference there is you're retiring and that's the end of it, and for a reason. Like, you're at the end of your career.
Yeah,
But players aren't playing because they're injured. You didn't keep playing Origin and that because your body was getting to a stage where you couldn't do all of
well,
it.
the club was like, well, we're paying you this amount of money, which was less than copping unders. I want you to put your solely into us.
Well, maybe at that stage, I don't know what the agreements
And our
were.
coach was the Queensland.
Well, in the Queensland coach, it was convenient. There's in the agreement now, Peter Volandis or Andrew Abdo or the NRL, you can make an application to say, I want to be excluded from selection or I want to retire from rep football, and it can be considered. So that is where, I mean, you retired from rep football, you played 34 tests for Australia. I mean,
Well-
you've done your job.
Well, it's not on Kalen, it's on the Knights for being incompetent. The management. How did the management of Newcastle go, okay, Kalen, you're going to come out and say you don't want to play because you want to concentrate on winning the comp? Where's someone within the Knights saying, well, hang on,
Well, mate, this could
just think about it a
this could
second.
cause some trouble.
What about we just say, you need to clean out of your ankle or something like that? Who has let him come out and put himself up for criticism like that? Someone within the organisation, put your hand up. It's an absolute...
Well, this is, mate, like working at the NRL and understanding the game as well as I can. This is like one of the big problems of the game is that, we formed a commission to make decisions for the game. But then any time they want to make a decision, it just gets questioned so much and people just want to go rogue and say, well, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do this. Can we do that? You know, like you can question what the commission are doing in the game, and then you can go and select new commissioners.
I just can't
At the end of the day, if there's rules and no one wants to abide by all the rules, there's media rules where you say players have to sort of speak after games or do whatever. But if players don't want to do it, no one's held accountable. Like it's our game.
I can't believe that a body can force a player to play when they don't want to.
Well, you can imagine a coach. Does a coach want to play who doesn't want to play?
Does a coach what?
Well, how would a coach want to coach a player who doesn't want to play?
Andrew, I think he can refuse to play, but I think it's inevitable, given it's a contract, that there'll be some kind of ramification.
I just can't get over it. If he gets banned, it's laughable.
But do you reckon, once again, do you reckon Caelan's got to the end of the year and they've said, oh, geez, there's a Pacific test? Do you reckon the players know there's these championships on?
Yeah, I think so.
I think it was rushed through last year, but it's been...
Well, that's what I mean. Here's
Last
where
year,
a
I
long-term
think,
plan, you know, would help everyone, without a doubt.
But no one was prouder to play for their country than you two. Are you worried now players are having to make a decision about whether they play for Australia?
Because this is...
And does it cheapen the jumper?
This is rare. This is...
The games
is
become so
rare.
big. The club competitions become so big,
You got to understand.
without a doubt.
You're playing so much footy, how much it affects you, physically, but mentally. To get yourself up every weekend to play, to get out there and get bashed, do you know how much emotionally it takes out here?
I think the mental side, because over my whole career, I think I averaged 29 games a year.
You have 29 games.
Something like that. But the mental toll was nothing like the players now. Like what they have to go through now.
Was that an acceptable level? 29 in a year? Was that...
I don't know, I just played all the games and played rep afterwards. And then you play trials before.
Well, you look at rugby union. You go to French rugby union and get paid a squillion. You play 14 games a year, 15 games a year. You go to Japan and get
Japanese
a
rugby's like
fortune.
that.
You play 12 games, 14 games. To be playing junior polo in the middle of the field, 35 games in a year, something is broke. And you have a look. You have a look at the.
Well, mate, I'll tell you what's broke. You take it back down to schoolboys. Well, we got Lockie Galvin on the weekend.
Yeah.
Mate, he would have gone 3 years. I remember Ben Jones, a young kid,
ginger.
come through, played for Matraville. Yeah, the gingerhead Indigenous player, scored a try in, I think, maybe the first Indigenous game. Mate, he played 70-some games in 1 year.
What?
70-something games in 1 year.
I think they jump all over that now, don't they?
No, well, no, there's still players now playing, you know, huge amounts of games, and all of a sudden, Ben Jones gets to 22, he's gone. He's cooked.
Did he give it away?
Pretty much.
Wow.
Mate, he played in the Indigenous game.
Your body
I was the
can
coach, and he was part of like the first grade system, and then I can't remember anything more.
I hurt my neck in early 2000s, and it was on the back of playing pretty much every game, Origins and 2 tours. I've no doubt accumulated, and then I had to sit out with the neck. No
So
doubt.
should Caelan go down to see Peter V'landys and say, Peter, the reality is I've just played that much football and I'm...
But he hasn't played.
But he has.
But this is, if he comes out and
10
goes,
weeks off,
if
didn't
this is...
Well, he's had concussions.
Someone within the
well,
club should have said, righto, this is what we're going to do. This is, instead of him coming out, they should have went, well, if you come out and say this, X, Y and Z. If you come out and say, I'm flat, they're going to say, well, Caelan, you played 12 games this year. You can't be flat. Someone with the organisation has to put their hand up at the Knights and go, you know what, I absolutely screwed this up. Because someone within there should have said, come on, come in, we need to sort this out. Because this won't pass the pub test and you're going to get hammered.
It'd be interesting how many other players come out.
Well, in fact, it was the club that put the statement out.
It was the club.
Yeah.
Absolute amateur hour. You've put your star player under all sorts of pressure. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Change of the guard at the Roosters. They've had such a core group of stars for such a long time. Maria Hargreaves at the forefront of that. Luke Keary, of course. Might be the last time. Satili Tupanua. There's a whole bunch of them leaving. Here's a list. And, of course, both the centres are headed off to rugby. Maria Hargreaves, most capped.
Well, they're not retiring. They're going to England. One's going to France, one's going to England.
Well, that's true. Yes, retiring from the NRL.
Yeah.
And then, Dylan Napa. All right. Manu, Soili'i.
Do you reckon Joey Manu will be back in the Roosters' colours? Is he only signed with 1 year at Japanese
So
rugby?
their competition runs nearly the opposite. He could nearly come back,
Yeah.
I think, May. April, May, I think.
Do you think
their
he will?
final
Do
is.
you think he'll be back next year?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's the
I
lure
hope so.
It's the lure of the All Blacks.
Well, they seem to
maybe.
have, like...
I got to say, the forwards. We're talking about Jared and Liz, and they have Spencer Leniu,
Terrell.
Terrell, mate, Nafu,
Siwa.
he pronounced Nafu White.
Yeah.
He's a gun. Siwa Wong. They got young,
Well, Lindsay Collins. They need
really
to,
good young
They need
forwards.
to elevate.
Silva'a, the kid that played in the final
Another
the other
one. They got a really good young forward. The worrying thing is Sam Walker. He was on the Sunday Footy Show on the award-winning Turn It Up. He said he won't be back till August next year. Now, if he has any complications, he mightn't play next year. So then your starting halves are going to be Sandon Smith and Chad Townsend.
And that's for the year. So you got
That's for the whole year. Now, they've got a young guy
Toby
called
Rodwell.
Hugo Savala.
Oh, yeah.
He's a local boy. He goes well.
Toby Rodwell.
Toby Rodwell,
He'll
he's a
be
baby.
19 next year.
But he's a baby. He won't be ready for another 18 months. I just wonder whether they got a signing.
Someone coming.
Yeah.
Unless it's Joey Manu. Hopefully he comes back. How many years did he sign? Just one?
No idea.
No. But it's $1 million for 14 games or something. It's good coin. Good coin. But again, it's the whole whether the lure of potentially representing the All Blacks is enough to keep him in rugby. I think I read some comments last week that sort of indicated maybe he's not as keen on.
I don't think
All
you
Blacks,
can play
you
for
know.
the All Blacks unless you got to play in New Zealand. Is that right?
Possibly, but if he wanted to play for the All Blacks, he'd obviously have to commit to it and probably go and play Super Rugby.
That's what I'm saying. They don't pick players from Japan or France, do they? Do the Wallabies do that?
Yeah, we can.
Don't know.
The Wallabies can. They changed the rule. They changed the rule in relation to that.
Could you see Joey Manu playing the All Blacks? I haven't sort of watched it for
It's hard to know. What position are you going to play? Centre?
maybe centre.
I'd see Joey Manu play for anyone.
Remember when,
He's pretty good
remember
centre.
when Sonny played, when
Yeah.
Sonny brought all that into rugby through
Yeah.
the line? That's Joey Manu.
Because the other part of that is, mate, you need to run like a front rower.
Crash ball, yeah.
Yeah, you're hitting the line a lot.
I really like it when you get serious and fired up.
Oh, well, I'm fired up because I can see their side of it.
Well, it's mostly something that the game didn't need. That hasn't been handled that well.
Well, it hasn't been handled well from the point of the night. So they could have smothered it. And people are going to say, oh, yeah, you're telling lies. Oh, how many lies come out of footy clubs?
None. Our great friend, the Eighth, needs a little spell in the hyperbaric chamber. Remember the hyperbaric chamber? Where's it gone? Used to be grand final week, hyperbaric chamber. Here we are.
Within 12 hours of tearing his hamstring, Ricketson had begun his specialised treatment. In a desperate attempt to be fit for his first grand final, Ricketson enters a hyperbaric chamber twice a day, and on top of extensive physiotherapy, he'll stick rigidly to the program all week.
I was limping pretty badly Saturday night. Today I'm walking quite freely, so I expect by Wednesday or even Thursday to be jogging or even running.
Ian Rubin was another Rooster hurt in the come-from-behind win against Newcastle. It was feared the big Russian had fractured a cheekbone after an accidental whack from one of his teammates. But Rubin can't wait for Sunday.
Just a bit of numbness on the left side, the teeth and the nose and around the cheekbone, but other than that, I'm fine.
For Brisbane today, all eyes were again on Shane Webke, who made a comeback from a broken arm against Parramatta yesterday. Webke's arm guard was cleared by league officials just before kick-off, and despite appearing distressed throughout the 80 minutes, he says his only problem was match fitness.
Wear everything on my face, so when I'm tired, it looks like I'm hurting. But I think that was part of the problem yesterday. I was pretty buggered, but it wasn't in so much pain.
The Roosters say Parramatta didn't target the arm. They won't be so lenient.
Sure, if anyone's not 100%, you've got to sort of look over him, and Shane's arm ain't 100%, I'm sure.
God, you look so smooth with your wet hair there, just out of the tub.
Yeah, dips with weights.
I was flying.
So, interestingly too, on the subject of kangaroo representation, I spoke to David Middleton this morning about players that have pulled out, etc. And Shane Webke had a long career for Australia. He pulled out of the 2001 Kangaroo Tour because he was worried about the threat of terrorism after September 11.
Did we go?
Yes.
No, yeah, we did.
Yeah, so what happened was...
Did
we
you get,
originally...
you got feathers?
I got white feathers
Sorry?
sent to my letterbox, and somehow the Telegraph found the
Which is a
story
side
out
of...
coward.
So if people didn't go to war back in the day, is
You
that
got sent,
right?
you got sent white feathers. So what happened? We come together in the league. So I was captain at the time, and they said, "We don't really want to go." And I said, "Oh, I'll sort of toe the party line."
Oh, right.
Because it actually came up because obviously
And then
9/11.
And then you
And
you
then I
came
told
out of the
and I said, "Yeah, it's a good idea. We don't go over." Webke pulls out. Nothing happens to him, and someone apparently sends me 4 white feathers.
Oh.
And then what happened after that, because remember, we played a game, we stayed at the Central Coast.
I didn't play that game. I was
And
still
then-
partying. We won the comp day.
Oh, that's right.
They tried to get me to play. It's just,
So we went up there, and then we said, right, it was all, you imagine, like, it was very tense.
Yeah.
Life was very tense for that period. And then we said, right, do something in the space between now and then going to England. So we said, grow some facial hair or do something. So blokes turned up with dyed hair, and I actually grew a mow, and then they sort of put a picture of me on the front page of the paper saying, should this bloke captain our country, so I had a mow. Like the whole joint, mate.
That's right.
Well,
Insane.
so the Kangaroo Tour started when?
2001. So
short
they
month?
put it back. They shortened
it
it
was
up.
short. We only played 3 tests, didn't we?
Oh.
We were supposed to go for 8 weeks, and we only
So-
went for 4 weeks.
I think it might have been 5 games. Did we play 2 other games?
You left in October. I just hearing you left in October. It's less than a month after September 11.
Yeah.
Gee, that's no wonder you didn't want to go.
Yeah. 4 feathers.
Hyperbaric chamber. Spent any time in one? No, not your scene. Did you?
Neither did I, you know.
Remember the other one? Remember those floating things you used to, used to float on these. It's like one of these. And I hopped in one time. Supposed to be recovery after Tony Butterfield, and he'd been farting in there for an hour. Honestly, I came out and I had an afro. I had my hair turned curly. Could you imagine Butterscum just farting for an hour? What were those floating things called? Oh, what a load of shit.
It's not a salt bath. Do you know what? I had one of those. I went and did a float.
Yes.
You heard about floating?
Are they good?
Well, you'd know. Really good. You go into the room, you spend an hour, you're in the nud,
Float
all by
tank,
yourself,
yeah.
and for an hour, no, shut up, no light, no, it just basically blocks out your senses for an hour. You float on the water. It's
Have
like
you had-
full of magnesium and
Have you
stuff.
had one of those enema things?
No, I haven't. I've never had an enema,
Have
Brad.
you?
I had one the other night.
I took the wife.
At the
took
Clover
my-
Valley Hotel.
Stop.
I took Marie for her birthday.
What?
She sit there for like an hour. I think I
What
forget
a
what it's
double
called.
to do in
It's like
one.
a flush.
talking about?
Well, they put a pipe up your. How you
It took your
going?
missus to get a...
And so they just fill you full of water and they just clean you out.
Hang on, you took Maria to
Marie.
get one?
It was for a birthday.
Oh, for a birthday. Happy birthday, love. Get this up,
I
yeah.
was at the Chloe Saturday night. I was doing one at the sink, and somebody was, "What are you doing?" So just having an enema. Just leave me alone.
I bet that bit's going to get edited
But do it
out.
responsibly, kids.
Manly.
We'll find out what are they called.
I wasn't at the Clover Valley Saturday night. I was working, so it's only a joke.
So it's Friday
Before
night.
people start to, it was,
You're off Friday night.
it was Sunday.
Manly and the Cowboys are gone. Don't know if they're having an enema. They might need one after all the beer they drink. What?
Is it a colonoscopy?
No, that's a surgical procedure.
No, right. It's a colon cleansing. That's what we had, a colon cleansing.
You've just got an insight into the Fittler household that the way to mark a romantic idea is to go and get
It's like a
your colon
raging
cleansed.
torrent coming out of yours. I can imagine.
No, they just keep pushing water up, mate. It's quite amazing.
Hang on, what's this? Oh, it's a toy car up there. Brad,
G.I. Joe.
oh, there's a little Bart Simpson figurine.
Lindsay Collins would have avocado seeds, wouldn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Manly, boys. What'd you make of that?
Man, they were busted.
The first 2 tackles didn't help.
No, it didn't help at all, did it?
You lose a centre and you lock forward.
Yeah.
Your lock forward plays 80 and your centre plays 80. It's chaos straight away, so...
No, they were tired.
But I tell you what, some players... Olakau'atu was outstanding. I thought Brooks was good. There was a few players still, I think, were solid and...
Paseka, I thought he had a really good year. They're a big team. I like Aloye too off the bench. I think he's a good player. I
But
think
Lehigh Hopewadi, I think he sort of announced himself. That was good. I think they just need more from, Aloye, I think, those forwards. I think I don't see excellent every week.
Lachlan Croker, as tough as they come, but
Yeah, he
he plays 80 minutes. He's busted. Actually, I was talking to him before the game. He had all those concussion problems through the year. Because I spoke to him last year, he had neck problems. So I think they need maybe something off the bench, a run threat and dummy half. But
Well,
there's
Jason
definitely
Saab, they miss Jason Saab.
there's a team building there. They just need to. They haven't got the depth of the Roosters or
No doubt.
Penrith.
If they signed a big, high-profile prop, for instance, would that help them? Is that an area they?
I think the forwards are pretty good. I think the front row, Paseka, Aloye, Jake.
Who's your left back rower?
Carl Lawton's been playing.
Carl Lawton.
And Ben Trebojevic. He's played there.
Yeah, they need another strike.
After a certain amount of players, their depth drops pretty quick.
What's Lehigh's position?
I would imagine
he played fullback
come through as a fullback.
He's not going to play fullback.
No,
but he can't.
Well, eventually will.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking, could he play centre? Like if you had Garrick in the centres with Saab
on the wing,
both on the wing.
Hopewadi and Garrick swapped a bit during the finals.
Well, Garrick swapped because of the injury, and then that hurt because defending with Cherry Evans is tricky. You've got to have defended with Daly to see what he sprints up, sprints back. You got to know how to work with him. And when Tolu Kola went down, that changed it all. So that didn't help.
Yeah. Boys, the Cowboys were curious on the weekend. Again, maybe a bit of wear and tear, but...
They were legless early.
What is that about? I can't understand how a team... You're playing for your season, and they're a talented team, and they just weren't... The effort wasn't there.
It was 24-0 at half-time.
Yeah.
And then they came back. I think they won the second half 18-2, which...
But they were forced to do it.
Did they go better because the pressure was off? They're hard to get a read on as a team.
That happened a lot. Where, in these sort of games, once the pressure goes off, it's like the Dragons in that game against Parramatta. It's like, they're down by 30, the season's over. Oh, we'll throw the ball around.
But how do you explain what looked to be a real lack of desperation in the first half in a must-win game?
They might have been flat as pancakes.
Well, considering the week before they did, like Tamalalo was outstanding the week before. Like they come up with some huge plays.
I thought late in the year, Jeremiah and Nene had dropped off a little bit. Lukey, on the other hand,
He did, didn't he?
I think he was injured. Nene feels like he's been injured the whole year.
Shoulder. Valentine Holmes, that last game was unbelievable. Jeez, he was good.
Busted his leg. So pressure there? Well, they've 2 years have underachieved. There's got to be pressure there, hasn't there?
I don't know if underachieved. I think 4th or 5th or 6th. That's probably their position.
With the Cowboys, with their team, you reckon?
They've got a pretty good team.
Gee, I look at that team. You'd think.
So do you think it's a premiership winning team?
I think it's close.
Really?
Yeah.
Where do you see they lack there to be a premiership contender?
Well, they had no consistency in the halves. They started with Chad Townsend, and then.
So that's a big change. Like Chad, he took them when they had that good year, and then his form dropped. He got a bit older.
Cohen Hess, he missed most of the year, didn't he?
Whole year.
Yeah. Actually, he was outstanding last
Jermaine Tennell-Brown, he was another backup in the forwards.
They missed some blokes up front. I don't think it was a premiership roster. I think it was a 3rd, 4th, 5th sort of finish.
Okay. Interesting to see what the Cowboys do throughout the off-season because...
How long's Toddy on for?
I don't know.
Is there any coaches out there?
There's always coaches out there, Brad.
Is there? Yeah.
Bree Fittler linked with the North Queensland job. Time for our Tab Eras debate. Grand final entertainment. Look, it's preliminary final week, but hey, why not? Any excuse to trot out this from Billy Idol.
You ready to rock? Are there any Warriors fans here? Can't hear you. Are there any Roosters fans here? All right, let's rock. I love my footy.
Well, he's done a great padding job there, Billy Idol, and I'm impressed that he even knew who was playing. And you were in the sheds, oblivious to this whole thing happening.
Didn't even see it.
Journey's had a facelift or some sort of...
I haven't seen him lately.
Well, that was 22 years ago, and it was...
Oh, don't say that.
I'd imagine you can't go past Tina Turner.
Oh, she was... When did she actually come out and play?
93.
Did you? Oh, there she is. Oh, hang on.
She had the photo with Alfie and the trophy and all that.
Oh, look at that.
Look
Look
at
at the bloke.
Are they chaps?
Have a look at the bloke.
Chaps.
That's what I call hot.
Wasn't he in the Village People, that bloke?
Oh, look, he's into it. Jeez,
Mate.
I love to see him. Yeah, just love to see him on his honeymoon. How's that?
Mate.
What?
He's hot.
Mate, what he's doing with that saxophone, that was quite raunchy. Yeah, you can't go past Tina.
Turner's good.
Should have seen Bill Clinton with the saxophone back in the day. Oh, Hugh Jackman. I had no recollection of Hugh Jackman being at the 99 grand final, but there you have it. That is a world record rugby league crowd.
Yeah. What's Hugh singing?
Some sort of operatic number, perhaps. Oh, this is the moment. There you go.
Oh, the TV.
Yeah.
Optus. Look at this. This is gold.
This was a recipe for disaster. Out they come.
Oh, there's Elvis.
He's still alive. Look out. Look out.
Where are the balloons? It can't be a grand final without the balloons. Here they are.
Mate, if someone's under that, kill him.
Oh, mate, look at the size of it.
They kill him.
That would have killed someone.
Oh, that's made of metal, isn't it? That would have weighed a couple of tons.
That's awesome.
Then there was the old baton twirling, you know, marching band sort of ensemble.
cheerleaders.
Generally used to get around.
Yeah.
If you could catch anyone, if you could pick anyone, how good would AC/DC be?
For a grand final?
Guns N' Roses.
Guns N' Roses be, oh.
Mate, a couple of years ago when Jimmy Barnes was singing,
Jimmy's
we
good.
watched it from the box together. It was awesome. It was fantastic.
But I'm saying an international act.
I'm trying to think of who's the best international.
Well, Kiss did the AFL grand final a couple of years back.
Like, there's you two. All the ones I think of are old. I'm trying to think of who's young. Who's young?
Here's the Kid Leroy. So he's playing on next Sunday.
Is he a Redfern boy?
Yeah, he grew up around the block, so he's got skin in the game.
And he's an Indigenous boy?
Yeah.
Yeah? I don't know any Kid Leroy songs.
The one with Justin Bieber.
Oh, is
Justin
that him
Bieber.
there?
It says more about our age than anything else. So
Who's the best band at the moment? Like, for if you're younger and hip, who's the best band?
I don't know, you'd have to ask
Should
someone
the
young.
shit my young bloke listens to.
Yeah.
Drill music, is that what it's called?
My eldest son Sam loves Travis Scott.
Actually, country music's making a massive revival.
Yeah, what, Luke
listen to
Coombs?
country music.
Oh, Luke
Coombs.
Coombs.
Bedsy loves him.
Actually, country music's good.
Someone's
You know why? 'Cause there's so much of the jump.
I'd say Colt Chisel's playing in November.
Are
I'm
they?
going with Lingmac.
Are you going over to see Oasis?
Maybe.
Haven't confirmed this?
Actually, we get Oasis. Bring Simon Moran from Warrington. Simon. So we're waiting for Simon
So
Moran.
Tay-Tay's the one, isn't she?
I don't think we could afford it.
So Simon Moran, who owns Warrington, he's putting them back together, part of it.
Yeah.
And he said Oasis, he thinks Oasis may come down to Australia end of next year.
Really?
Yeah. So we'll get him on Freddy the Eighth.
Yeah.
No, Noel, we'll just get Liam.
After a big night.
Get him full of it and just
Is
let
he
him...
still going?
Of course.
He played over the weekend. I think he sung at the boxing. There was a heavyweight world title bout. Anthony Joshua,
yeah.
I think he sung at Wembley at the weekend.
Right.
I'm excited
Do you reckon
about
he's
this.
What's his go? I've never
Do you reckon
really...
he's rat's ass?
What's
He
his
doesn't
go?
care.
What's he got a good voice or?
Yeah, of
Well, it's
course.
Oasis. You know Oasis.
I do, but not really.
One of the
I was
great
never really an
bands.
Oasis
Hands behind
fan.
the back,
They're awesome.
microphone ups. Oh, they're the best.
So there you go. Look, I'm glad the Tab of supporting our show, and I don't know what this debate's cleared up, but hey.
What about Miley Cyrus? She'd be good.
You know
She's a
what?
bit of a character.
She's got some bangers, Miley Cyrus.
What are you talking about?
Wrecking Ball.
She's got some great songs. It means great songs.
I thought you were
Bangers.
talking about something.
Bangers means great songs.
Okay.
You two would be good.
Us two.
I went to watch you two at Las Vegas.
I know you did. Don't think we could afford them either.
Oh, good.
Are you going to Vegas next year, do you know?
Only if you go this time.
I'm not going.
You've got the exemption from HR. It's been lifted.
No.
Kate say.
There could be no better feeling, as I'm sure these two will attest to, than sitting in the sheds after winning a grand final. Back in 2005, the Tigers won their first and only premiership.
What a 24 hours for the Premiers, kicking off in the dressing room last night.
Our motto is do or die.
John Skandalis promised to chain the trophy to his battered body. Scott Prince kissed his Churchill medal. And Tim Sheens happily shared the winner's cigar. Others didn't want to take a breath.
Mate, we're just going to party. How many days, roughly? Oh, weeks. I didn't want to get off the field. I'll say you're all night.
In an even first 40, Benji Marshall produced a play already part of grand final folklore.
Marshall's still going. Marshall's got Richards coming up outside. Now inside. Richards. Pat Richards has scored. A magnificent try.
From one great pass to an injured big man running on one good leg. It was pure instinct and power.
Then I saw Pat out the corner of my eye and I just threw it. Hopefully it got there and thank God it did.
Farah's dummies and LaFrankie's effort helped make it 18-6. The Cowboys had to score next.
In they flick pass to Norton.
But North Queensland's hopes ended with this play. Prince toyed with his decoys and Fitzhenry finished it off. Another try in the final seconds sent them nuts. West Tigers had created history. Clinton Fletcher, National 9 News.
Oh, what a night for the game that was.
How good was awesome. Blokes like Scandalis?
I know.
Great fella. Got to win a comp.
Bryce Gibbs.
You know, I didn't see their run in because I was in England playing for Warrington.
No, you know what? They had the great semi against the Dragons.
I seen it. So I watched it. There was a game, you know, on the other channel, they play old games.
Yeah.
And they had that game at the SFS.
That's right.
And, mate, I haven't seen footy like it.
Mate, I set up
Change
in the
of angles. Pass.
For some reason. I set up in the corner and watched it. It was unreal. It was one of the best games.
What about the way they were passing the ball, how slick they were in attack?
The Dragons are a hot side too.
The Dragons, how did they didn't win a comp in that early to mid-2000s? Baz, Riles, Bailey, Gaznia, Cooper. You go through all
the Origin side, isn't it?
Brent Kite, he was there. How they didn't win a premiership?
Dean Young.
Is Jeremy Smith in that side?
No,
it would have been just after.
The road to glory. Let's have a look at the map. Well, we kind of know where we're positioned because there's only 4 teams left and it's the top 4 again. Storm, Roosters, Sharks, Panthers.
Was that the same last year?
Yeah, it's been top 4 for the last few years, I think.
Can you see any other team being in the top 4 next year other than those 4?
Not really. You got to settle and wait to see the movement. There's always a bit of late movement with players. I don't really know. I haven't kept up with who's going to which club.
Broncos.
Say a club jumping out of the ground. Maybe the Broncos could if they have a good run with injury too. I think their depth has been decimated when they lost Herbie and Flegler and that knocked them about.
Well, not often. There's a new club that comes into the competition. They're literally next door to you. So it's a lot easier for players that don't have to move.
So the Warriors next year, Sean. No Sean Johnson. Yeah,
they get Fisher Harris.
Yeah, but I'm thinking of the half.
Blake.
I'm trying to think.
Luke
Metcalf. He's a 5'8".
They've still got it.
I'm just trying to think of a team outside that top 4.
South Sydney.
Tamari Martin. South Sydney.
To make a run. I can't see South threatening the top 4 next year.
Campbell Graham's back. You forget Campbell Graham didn't play
Wayne Bennett's back.
Wayne Bennett's back. Campbell Graham. Who are they going to play hooker? Marmazelis.
Probably, yeah. They signed Jamie Humphries from Manly.
Yeah, he looks a good player.
Anyway, let's move on to these prelims. Storm Roosters, Amy Park, Friday night, live and free here on 9. Just remember, very similar circumstances, albeit a week earlier in the finals. Last year they met, the Roosters given no chance and they came within, what was it, half a minute? Half a minute?
A minute.
Of winning the game?
It was a great try too.
I think whoever wins this game will win the comp. I think Melbourne I think they'll win. There'll be much
I'd love
in
to
it.
see the Roosters win.
Oh, here it is. What a catch.
He's been a great player, hasn't he?
Oh, he went over. So they pushed Toops to the right wing. Did Toops play?
No, that's Suoli'i and
that's
Corey Allen.
That's Junior Tupu.
Was he might have been out.
Is that Corey Allen in number 4? Yes.
Yes. Well, that's Junior Tupu. That's
they
not
had
Daniel
a million
Tupu.
injuries going down there, remember? They had heaps of blokes out. Yeah.
Jeez, that's a good try.
To win a semi, that's unbelievable.
And remember, Munster hadn't done anything all game? He just fires that kick.
It was like that in Origin a few times.
They got beat by 40 the week after.
What about JWH versus Big Nasty? Big Nelson.
Who's going to be the key? The Roosters. And since the game, they've spoken about how they have to be aggressive. They can't win without being aggressive. It's about not getting penalised while you're being aggressive.
Are you worried about the Roosters have gone with 4 big boppers on the bench? So there's no cover.
I've been so surprised, actually. That happens nearly every game now. Like some
4
people,
big boppers.
Some people have, a Tyrone Wishart.
Yeah. Well,
someone who can, pretty much cover a lot of positions. But a lot of teams at the back end of the year were going with 4 big people. Who are the Panthers? Who are the Panthers?
Well, they've got Schneider on the bench,
Well,
but
they've got Schneider on
that's
the
depending on Sorensen's potential fitness.
Right. So they could possibly go with 4 forwards.
I reckon they might keep Schneider there as an insurance policy.
Well, what does that tell you about Nathan? Tell you he's not 100%.
Oh, he'll be fine. I think they're just trying to cover.
We'll get to that in the next game. Teddy, been brilliant. Unanimous player of the match last week.
Well, the week before I said that Kalen should be fullback. Well, that won't be happening.
You backflipped.
And
you've mocked him.
After on the weekend, I was wrong once again. Teddy deserves to be fullback and captain. I understand Turbo has made himself available. He was supposed to have an op, but they've put it off.
Has he really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And for the outside backs, they haven't got many outside backs, the Aussies. So.
Turbo centre, right centre.
Oh, yeah, Teddy was at his best. I like that he was at the ruck, but then he was getting on the right side with Keary, linking. He was out of this world. It was one of the best games I've seen him play. Top 5 games, I reckon, in the top 5 he's ever played, which is saying something.
The 2 plays, the one where he set up Radley's try, was unbelievable. Ball playing, nearly the best ball playing you can imagine. You watch the Manly defenders at the post, they weren't even thinking of him passing. And then Victor just leads into the line. The other one was the movement on him when he scored that try. At his age, when he scored that second try, you watch the movement once he goes in and then he swerves to the right. Like, someone here, watch this. Oh, no, that's not it. You watch his try. Like, the speed and the agility to score the try was incredible.
It's been a great comeback. He was being written off last year, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. Well, he was written off mid-year when he lost his origin fullback position to Dylan Edwards.
Why didn't we show the try where he accelerated the score?
Because
off the offload from Angus.
Yeah.
He, how fast was he?
Mate, for his age, and a bloke who's played that many games, still to be able to move like that, that was...
Fullback for Australia and captain?
Yeah.
Yeah. Teddy?
Teddy.
For sure. Is Kalen playing?
Is Nathan...
No.
Nathan going for surgery?
Yeah.
He is?
Yeah.
I heard something saying he won.
Dylan Edwards. I keep saying that Dylan Edwards is going for surgery. I don't know why. I don't know whether I'm...
I heard he's not now.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. If there's to be an upset this weekend, is it that game?
Yeah.
Are you tipping Melbourne?
Yep.
Confidently?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm tipping the Roosters without confidence.
Are you tipping that through sense of loyalty or sense
Yes.
of... Yes, okay.
Sense of brown paper bag.
That doesn't happen anymore. Saturday night at Core Stadium, Panthers Sharks.
Never happened.
Penrith trying to make a 5th grand final in a row. So they're alongside Melbourne and Parramatta for teams that have played in 4 straight grand finals. If they go to a 5th, they join the South Sydney team from the 60s. And then the only team above that's the 11 in a row, St George. Incredible.
Incredible.
Especially nowadays in the salary cap era. That'll never happen again.
Not in
our lifetime.
You say that.
Thoughts here?
I just Penrith win.
The only thing that will stop
I
it,
think the last three...
stop it, a draft.
Well, the draft and the salary cap pretty much work the same thing. Draft won't happen. Rugby league's too tribal for that.
It's unbelievable.
So the last 3 times they've played, Sharks haven't scored a point.
Haven't scored a point.
This was off the back of Sharks beating Melbourne and the Roosters in consecutive weeks, then coming home against Penrith, and the Panthers absolutely belted them. Belted them.
Different class. There's going to be some wet weather over Sydney town the next 3 or 4 days, so this might be a
I think it's more Thursday, Friday.
What do you think? Penrith just win.
I think Penrith.
I can't see Sharks scoring more than 12 to 14 points.
The try where Trindle flicked it to Nicorette tells me that they can score a couple of tries. He's got a little bit of class. Mulatalo's another one. He can just come up with something. I reckon there's a couple of tries there.
I think Katoa's busted. Jesse Raymond, I understand his ankle is absolutely cactus.
Right.
So it's sort of busted. This bloke on the weekend, Braden Trindle.
What a game.
Nearly a 10 out of 10.
Look at that movement.
Look at this movement. Jesus, a good player.
So Penrith, they can be a little vulnerable out wide with their defensive read. The centres in particular.
Between Nathan and Isaac.
No, I can't see him beating. I can't see him beating Penrith at all. So I think there's only 12 to 14 points in them, and then I think Penrith's got 30-odd points in them, the way they attack.
And they're fresh up too after a week off.
Fresh, yeah.
Can you engineer a game plan to beat them? Like, you kind of got to get them chasing from behind on the
I think you got to break their rhythm. You got to be different. You got to offload the ball. I'd be doing stuff like kicking the ball out, walking to the scrum or the tap, slowing it down, quicking it up, running from dummy half.
The big thing they do is they kick and they chase really well and they get their speed of line. If the referee gets on their back a little bit, that could hurt them. But outside that, if he doesn't, if they're allowed to get off the line really quick like they do, you won't be able to beat them.
Well, the referees...
Because they work too hard in all the other parts of the
referees haven't been blowing penalties.
Exactly.
That suits Penrith down to the ground.
Well, actually, Nathan and Jerome come out and were quoted saying, you know, they had the referees...
Well, the more ball in play, it just suits Penrith.
So,
remember that game? We did a game this year, and the fatigue alert, the ball was in play for 9 minutes.
Nearly got to 10.
And the longer it went, the more comfortable Penrith looked.
Well, look at the size of Penrith. They're nothing like the size of Melbourne and a few of the other teams, mate. They're all small, compact. You look at their wingers. Their wingers and centres. They're small. Like, they're small and stocky and fit and fast. Like, they work.
He's a player that when Mitch Kenny hasn't been there, geez, he improves their middle. That's him there, Mitch Kenny. Ooh.
Well, he got suspended a couple of times.
Look at the Warwick Farms on that. Scary.
Yes, indeed.
So, Penrith by how much?
I think Penrith by...
13 plus?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know the thing that made you realise that they are right up for this again, that fatigue isn't a factor, was that first final when the charge down happened, when Cleary kicked it and they charged...
On the try line.
And the whole team was back before the opposition. I've never seen anything like it.
Now, you watch them. Like, no, you never get the true aspect of how good they are because the video doesn't cover it. When they kick, we follow the ball. The whole team. Tackle 2, the whole team are on side. Most teams, it's like tackle 4. You're getting front rows back.
Before we leave you on Freddy the Eighth today...
Can I just say something about this game?
Say whatever you like.
Cronulla fans, get your passports and leave the Shire and go west. Please. The team needs you. Last weekend, it would have been what? How many?
20,000 at the Cronulla game.
That was 18,000.
Yeah, but there was a train strike as well.
That didn't help.
That didn't
help. Yeah. But I'm saying this week, get out and support your team. They got to have 30, 40,000 of Cronulla fans there screaming for your
60,000 would be a great result. Imagine that. That'd be awesome.
Surely
the Canterbury game, the Canterbury Manly game,
fantastic.
Was so good.
Well, public transport to Homebush it's as good as it gets.
Well, these days, mate, from Cronulla, it's one road.
Is it?
Drop under, you go near the airport, it's one road.
Don't drive. Get the train.
And you come up.
Don't drive.
Haven't you been on that road?
Yeah, I get confused with them all.
There's one that goes now from the airport, one road, comes out at Homebush.
We should do a show where you just drive us around Sydney and show us all the great new roads that you like to talk about.
I love them.
Before we leave you, we've got a little bit of breaking news. Over to Brad Fittler.
What happened?
What do you got for us?
What's my news?
It's in the paper.
I haven't seen the paper.
You got an enema?
A colon.
A colonoscopy.
Colonoscopy I got.
Something to do with your family?
Oh, Zach.
Yes.
He signed with the Waratahs.
Good on him.
Yeah. So he's on like I think it's like a Pathways contract.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Good.
Nick Politis involved there at all?
Following his dreams. No, actually, Nick, we spoke to the Roosters.
Yeah.
He just likes Union. At the moment, I think he's not lost to league totally, but
what position? Outside.
He plays number 12, but he's played in the scrum, but he mainly plays number 12.
I'll be getting out of that scrum in the rugby. It's no good.
Oh, his ears.
Yeah.
He hasn't got my ears, thank God. I've got big ears. His ears are a bit smaller.
Maybe he's got your complexion though.
Can you get a colonoscopy in the ears?
We can.
Two for the price of one.
Gentlemen, I shall see you at Accor Stadium on Saturday for what will be a great game of footy between the Panthers and the Sharks.
How do you spell that?
C-O-L.
Christmas presents for some people in the family.
Takes his missus for an enema.
Present for Kate.
Hey, we've got a very special guest for our grand final show next week, but I'm not going to give it away. That's called a teaser. See you over the weekend That's Freddy the Eighth. Ta-da!
You win some, you lose more. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.
This year, NRL on 9 is your one-stop shop for all footy.
That's right, Freddie. Not about the highlights. Action. 7 days a week.
Billy and Gus podcast, get that on your drive on the way home. Immortal Behaviour. Grab a seat on the couch for that. And, of course, my favourite, Freddy the Eighth.
The best footy brains, the biggest games.
Don't trust the algorithm. Subscribe to NRL on 9 and get all your entertainment there.